Hello and welcome to another edition of the Moving Iron Podcast. This podcast is proudly provided by AXON, helping dealers move more iron for almost 100 years. Find out more at axontire.com. AXON was started almost 100 years ago out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. It's that same passion that drives them today. With a vision for a better experience for both farmer and dealer, they set out to create a better way to move more iron. When you partner with AXON, you get immediate access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. AXON carries all major brands and sizes of tires, wheels, and tracks. From custom colors and sizes to fully customized wheels, you can have the solution for virtually any problem today's farmer is trying to solve. To find more or become an AXON dealer, please visit axontire.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by AXON Tire, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. For more information about AXON Tire, go to axontire.com. And the reason that is because I got the fellas from AXON Tire here with me today, and they're going to talk about what they see happening out there on the road and all the fun stuff out there. So first off, their marketing manager, which is Jesse Peters, is there, and he's been kind enough to work with me on what we see going on right now and work with the Moving Iron Podcast and the different stuff we have going. And Jesse, I just want to say thank you guys over at AXON for being part of the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. I throw that right back your way and say that we're excited to partner with people that support this industry. It's kind of like we happen to sell tires and wheels. Our real calling and mission is to support dealerships. Right. And we want to help them sell more equipment. And we believe if we do that, we'll sell more tires and wheels along the way. So that's really what we've been doing for almost 100 years, believe it or not. So thanks for what you're doing, and we're excited to be part of it.
That's awesome, man. So, well, Jesse, why don't you introduce? First off, Jesse, why don't you talk a little bit about AXON Tire, who you guys are, what you're doing, kind of what your kind of history is, and those kind of things.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time talking about us. It always feels kind of weird to do that, but the legacy of our company goes back, honestly, almost 100 years. Quite frankly, to the invention of the rubber tractor tire. And it's been in and around the Holt and Berardi family for that long. And so it feels kind of cool to work for a company that's, got a legacy spanning that far back. But we really, truly, and honestly love the agriculture industry, and that's our lane. So we're here to support dealers. And that 20% of the time when you're trying to sell a piece of equipment, and the manufacturer tire or wheel solution that comes on that machine isn't going to work and prevents you from making that sale, we want that first call to be to AXON, because that 20% of the time when you need a unique aftermarket setup, we want to be those guys that you call for that support to help you, move more iron off of your lot. So that's what we do. We've got what we call client advisors spread throughout the United States, servicing all 50 states and Canada. And off to my right is Clint Berardi, family member, again, with legacy going back 100 years. So, our client advisors, again, we're really not salespeople in the traditional sense. We're not dialing for dollars. We're not really slinging tires. Clint and the client advisor team shows up with a blank piece of paper saying, what problems are you and your customers facing, and how can we help? And that's really what we do. So Clint's territory, obviously our backyard is Iowa. We're based in Des Moines, Iowa. So Clint serves Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and really out to the east all the way to North Carolina. So Clint, if he's not in the office, he's in his pickup truck. That's really his real office, 5 days a week, visiting you guys, visiting dealers, trying to help. So I'm excited for him and you to connect and talk about what we're seeing in the marketplace. And again, if tires and wheels help you, that's really where we come in.
Outstanding. Well, Clint, man, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Casey. Thanks for having us on, and look forward to this opportunity to talk. This is what gets me going, so appreciate it.
good thing we have plenty to talk about, because there's no lack of stuff happening in the market right now. There's this craziness going on. Markets are going crazy. We're seeing, 2012, 2013 prices across the commodity marketplace. There's some drought situations that are popping up that are going to continue to feed this bull market that we see happening. But, as you step back and take a look at what's going on, we are in the heart. Most guys are with the way the weather's been here of late, a lot of guys got an early start and are starting to wrap up plant season. But really, we're kind of right dead in the middle of plant season. So with you covering Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, all the way across to the upper Midwest of the United States, I mean, what are you seeing happen out there? What kind of conversations have you been having, and what's the temperature of the market right now?
It's pretty consistent. I mean, I've had customers that have had, guys in the field for a month now, and up to right here in the Midwest where guys are really in the heart of it and things are happening. And if the common theme seems to be now with this new equipment that guys have, a few good weeks of running with this high speed planters. I mean, planting can happen in 10 days, 2 weeks. I mean, it can all be over with if weather conditions are good. So we're hearing a lot of that out. We've had some good weather. We're a little dry here in Iowa, but a lot of guys getting a good jump on things, and things are happening. So it seems to be kind of the consistent message I've been hearing from Kentucky and definitely the Midwest states.
Yeah, it's amazing how they can go from 5% one week to 25% in the beginning of the next week. It's quite impressive how fast they can plant. What are some of the challenges that you're seeing guys run into right now as you talk to them about what's going on in the marketplace?
Well, I don't think it's anything new to you, but availability, equipment, tires. Farmers are making some money again, and we've always said if they're making money, they're going to spend it. So if just getting that equipment in front of them, everything. I've heard the horror stories of the globe, the GPS globes to. Just the new tractor, wanting it. We're hearing issues. I think it was John Deere sent out a memo a couple weeks back, Michelin tire availability on new tractors and combines, nothing for the rest of the year. And, that's where we like to step in as the equipment dealer. If we can, most of the big tire manufacturers allocate, a percentage of their production to the aftermarket. And if we can get our hands on that product, a specific, tire brand or preference, that's where we step in and support you guys as the dealers to get that equipment set up, the way the farmer wants. So
let's spend a little time on that. That's the toughest thing we have happening right now. I think if we had 10 of everything, we could sell 10 of everything, and then they'd still want more. And taking a look at what's going on right now, what are some of the tips you have for folks that are looking at maybe getting through this planting season and starting to look at maybe something that they're going to upgrade when it comes to particularly like a harvest piece of equipment or a sprayer or something like that, where they're going to be maybe looking at upgrading maybe looking for some floater tires or something like that. What kind of advice would you have for somebody that wants to step out of that a little bit and say, man, I think I got to go ahead and upgrade some tires or some rims or whatever it might be, or tracks or something like that, with this availability issue? What's some advice you'd have for folks like that?
I would say, you need to be looking not just at what you're going to need in the next 30 to 60 days. I mean, now is the time to be looking 120 days to 12 months out, because a lot of these lead times we're being told on, on tracks in particular, we're 90 to 120 days is not uncommon. So if you're going to need something for fall, you need to be looking for it right now and trying to get that located. And not only that, we were just aware of a new price increase coming up on wheels. And these aren't the 5 to 10% price increases. These are 20, 30% price increases. So, this just is where we're at. So I would encourage guys to definitely take a look at what you're going to need, especially going into harvest at this point, right where we're at now, and analyze what you need, and get on it now. Start making some decisions now.
Yeah, steel surcharges are not a joke, man. I tell you, we've seen on equipment stuff where we have stuff coming in where we've seen 15 to 18% price increases on some stuff. And when you start talking about that kind of a percentage jump on, $50,000 to $100,000, $150,000 piece of equipment, it's no joke. And I'm, as you sit back and take a look at a a set of rims and tires and all the stuff that comes along with that, that really kind of makes that investment even a bigger deal. And also from that perspective, it's the best time to come in and start looking at making those decisions. So what's availability look like right now for some steel tires or steel rims that are out there that you could get maybe pre price increase?
A lot of your common stuff, we try to be pretty diligent and being proactive about analyzing this stuff ahead of time. And I would say a lot of your common stuff, your front duals for your 8,000 series, your rear 50-inch rubber, wheels, your common everyday replacement stuff. With the equipment industry the way it is, we're seeing a lot of equipment come into different areas of the country. An 8R tractor might come out of North Dakota that's set up for sugar beets, but a farmer in Iowa wants it for corn, 30-inch row corn. So there's a need there for an 18.4 and 16.9 row crop rubber. And that's where that wheel availability is. That's directly from the manufacturers. So
that was my next question I was going to talk to you about. So used equipment's near and dear to my heart, man. That's my bread and butter, and that's the thing I love to talk about the most. But this flow of equipment, you kind of take the northern tiers of the United States, the North and South Dakotas, the Minnesotas, Iowa, Illinois, Indianas, Ohio's, and the natural flow and natural progression of that machinery from the north to the south, year in and year out is a natural kind of progression that we see with this used equipment flow. Mm-hmm. With the stuff that you've seen right now, and as tight as the marketplace is, what kind of calls you're getting about, upgrading, taking that 390, 380 tire to a 480 or something like that? I mean, is that a pretty prevalent call you're getting right now?
It is, and that call really, comes all year at any point. With exactly what you're saying, the hours, you can almost picture exactly what the hours are going to be and when it's right here. But right now it's just guys willing to take what they can and make it work, whether it's, I've heard of some tractors from the South coming north even. Yep. Just guys, getting their hands on whatever they can get and setting it up the way that they want it. So, another thing, interestingly enough, is the combine export business too. We've all have gotten some calls on that. Combines going out of the country, like your S660s, older model combines going to Mexico, China, other parts of the world. That seems to be kind of a trend that's going on too, as I'm sure you are probably aware of as well. Yeah. So,
the China thing's the most impressive thing to me that I've seen up to this point in my career. There's not been that flow of equipment that we would see into China as much as we had there for the longest time. It was pretty difficult to get used equipment into China, and they obviously have changed that, or we wouldn't be able to see the action that we're seeing right now. So that equipment transfer all around the world, for that matter. You start looking at Eastern Europe and those kind of places. There's just a lot of flow that we haven't seen in the past, and I think that's going to continue to be that way just because of the fact of the amount of used equipment that folks are trying to get their hands on right now, because everybody wants to upgrade. Now you go 7 years of kind of a drought in the marketplace where it's tough to kind of make things happen, and you're duct tape and baling wire wherever you can put it type of deal. And now you got some ready to upgrade and those kind of things. They're ready to make that move and move forward. And I think that this kind of thing, as you look at working with your dealers and those kind of things, what are your thoughts moving forward here the next couple of years as far as, from a remarketing type of approach, upgrading those tires and stuff like that for some of the used fleets out there on the lots, also just for some of just upgrading tires just for the stuff on the farm still?
Yeah, it's and actually used equipment managers are a big portion of my customer base. It's interestingly enough, and especially the past few years where guys, for whatever reason, a customer or a farmer will tend to walk by a tractor that needs tires. Everything else could be in perfect condition, but if it needs tires, he's going around it. So we've seen a lot of dealers transition and the used equipment managers into, hey, let's make this investment, make this thing look better. for the farmer, and we picked up a lot of business that way through the remarketing efforts of good used equipment, but it stands a little taller on the lot with good rubber on it.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing about, you could take any tractor on your lot, any tractor that's used, and it might have some hours to it, might be a little long in the tooth, but you slap a new pair of tires on it and it looks as pretty as the day it rolled off the factory line. So the thing about tires is it's not a joke either. I mean, it's not a joke of an investment. It ranks right up there with rebuilding an engine or a transmission or something like that when you really start doing that. So what are some of the key tips you'd give a customer when they start looking at replacing the tires they have on the machine they have now, and kind of what's that look like? I mean, what's that process with you when you're having that conversation with somebody? What's that look like?
Well, the way I like to do it is this, when you're going to buy a set of tires and make this investment, one of my first questions is, how long do you plan to keep this piece of equipment? Is this going to be something you're going to trade in 2 years? Maybe you don't want the highest and high technology tire, the top of the line. And then if they're going to keep it, I always try to talk the latest technology in tires, the way the stuff going, the IF and VF. You can run 20 to 40% lower air pressure, and all that contributes to your bottom line. When we talked about commodity prices earlier, coming out of this slump, if I was a grower, I would want to do everything I could to contribute to better yields, better fuel economy of my equipment, and the right tires can work in those ways for you. Less soil compaction, better fuel economy, better ride, better operator comfort in the cab. All of those things at the end of the day. And I think we've got in the tire industry, we've got a lot of work to do to train our customer base about the qualities and the level these tires are going. I mean, we like to say in our clinics that we go to, that tire is the only thing between that $500,000 piece of equipment and the road or the field,
Right. Yeah.
So Clint, can you talk just a second about, talk to this salespeople at an implement dealership and how the value and the condition of the tire factors into even getting that next piece of equipment, right? Before it lands on a guy like Casey, where he's like, all right, I'm stuck with this piece of equipment I can't sell, right? Because some sales guys, how do you see that factoring into the value of trade-ins and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a call I've received a few times from equipment manager where, a sales guy, maybe when he was doing an eval on a piece of equipment and missed a separated sidewall or a crack somewhere, and or he went off of an estimation that they were 30, they're 50%, and I always like that one. My 50% and their 50% is all, it could be way off. So we try to.
The old pin in the tread with the picture. That's the best one. I love that.
Yeah. I've seen them all, from thumbs and fingers and everything. But
everything's the same.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are no strangers to it. One set of tires can cost from $20,000 to $40,000 for a tractor, and you don't take that into consideration on a trade. I mean, that can hurt if it means putting new tires on to move a piece of equipment. So
and tires are what makes the easiest thing to move. That's the first thing they see. It's the biggest standout thing that you want. I mean, I use the example of I can't remember what it was, like an 8450, I think. 8440. 8440. Beautiful. Shine like the day was long. Beautiful, shiny green paint. The inside and out looked brand new, immaculate. And it had like slicks they got off some drag strip someplace. And no matter what you wanted to do with it, the first thing they saw wasn't the rebuild engine. It wasn't the glossy green paint. It was these crap tires they had on there, and it just took forever to sell it. And had to end up doing the exact same thing you're talking about. Had to end up just kind of biting the bullet there and buying a set of tires. As soon as we did that, man, we sold it, and we came out all right on the deal. But it was, again, a bad evaluation, really what it was. It came down to it. It looked good in the pictures, and shadows do a lot of things that you got to pay attention to. So, it's such a integral part of the machine, just for the performance factor too. I mean, you put a set of wore down tires on there, your slip goes up and all these different things take place. And next thing you know, your investment isn't nearly as what you thought, as illustrious as you thought it was. So I think,
and I would say we encourage those dealers and farmers, quite frankly, to call us. That's where, we've been doing this so long, we can provide that insight to what you should do, give you options, and even help assess what it's worth, so that, if you're considering that trade-in or you're trying to assess a value back to that end user, that's really where we can play. And we make a pretty good habit of helping you guys on the lots of these dealerships take those tires back and work that into the deal too. We often play in the trade-in space, as well. So make that call to us and we can help.
Absolutely. Used tires are also another great avenue too, if they're in good shape. It makes a big difference as well.
Yep.
So good stuff there. Well, Clint, as we kind of wrap this up here, as you take a look and see what's coming out there, as you start kind of making your kind of assumptions for the summer and going into the fall and into the beginning of 22, what are some of the things you're paying attention to, and what are some of the things you want the listeners of the podcast here to really sit back and think about?
Yeah, I guess one of the things that comes to mind, I was on a lot in Kentucky last week and noticed a new 22 model planter, demo planter there, and was pleased to see that it had radial implement tires all the way around on it. And, I don't know where that dollar figure is going to come in on that planter, but I'm sure it's up there. But it's good to see that the manufacturers are catching up with this stuff. And it's not just the tractor tires that, can contribute to lower, to the soil compaction. It's also these planter bars. When you have a piece of equipment like that, that's $300,000-$400,000 potentially, you really need to make that investment into the well-equipped tires that can handle that load and it's going to handle the roading, going down the road, but then also the load. If you have a chemical tank and bulk seed, all that all adds up, and you need to be able to spread that weight out and do yourself a favor by compaction. So that's what I see, especially go back to the sprayers, almost all the new, mid-size and large frame sprayers are basically all coming out with some sort of an IF or VF tire now. So I would just encourage guys to do your homework on it. As Jesse said, reach out to us if you want. There's a lot of information online. But you need to know the weight of your machine, loaded and speed, and there's simple calculations that can be made to dial that in right where you need to be. A lot of guys tend to just read the sidewall, and that's a max air inflation system, for max load, max inflation. And often you can lower that down and do yourself a favor by helping with your fuel consumption again and your soil compaction. And when we're excited, there's a lot of new equipment out there. New machine models from Deere and Heggie both. We've got some floats out on some test machines some demo machines that are running, and we're going to be keeping a close eye on that and monitoring that as it goes and try to be out on the forefront as this new equipment comes out and provide the right tire and wheel fitments for them. So,
the size, speed, and weight of these machines tires are pretty, not just from a compaction standpoint, but from a safety standpoint as well. I mean, there's a lot that comes into these tires. So there's a lot of stuff to think about when you look at that stuff. So.
Oh, the other interesting thing we've heard too is that John Deere is coming out with an inflation system. I don't know if your guys have talked about that much, be able to control air pressure. I think it's going to be something that you can control from the cab of the tractor to set your air pressure. And so that'll be something to watch out for as well. This is the way things are going. I was talking to a store manager of a dealer in the Southeast recently, and he said, a lot of my customers that pay this extra money for this latest technology don't do enough research to know what it is, what it's capable of. And he said, if I was spending $750,000 on something, he said, I would know everything about it. So that's what I would say, know what these things can do for you on the tire side. I mean, it's an air pressure gauge, and whether if you can go to your closest co-op and weigh it, get it set up correctly, and like we said, just if you want help walk through that, feel free to reach out to us, and be happy to do what we can.
Good stuff. Well, Jesse, you have a special here that you want to throw out.
Yeah, just to thank your audience. We're passionate about supporting agriculture. I'd also just say the makeup of our team. Clint has the Iowa and out east. We got a guy, Mike, that handles Minnesota up all the way through the Northeast. Down in the Southeast, based out of Louisiana, from Texas all the way down to Florida. You've got John, and then we also have a second warehouse and headquarters out in California. So we've got sales guys with their ear to the ground supporting dealerships all across the country. So first and foremost, you guys want to reach out to us, social media, website, axontire.com, or just at Axon Tire. You don't have to look very far to find us. We are here to help and support. So that's job number one. To that end, we sell everything from Firestone to Goodyear to Michelin. But one of our other partners is Alliance Tire. They've got a lot of great products coming out. So to support Clint's recommendation to get into a pair of IF tires for the whole month of May, we want to offer your customers a 5% discount on Alliance 354 AgriFlex tires, for that sprayer that's out in the field. You're looking at upgrading or getting some extra life out of that piece of machinery, give us a call. Mention that you heard this promo for the Alliance AgriFlex tires. We'll give all of your listeners 5% off every single tire. Or send us a note on our website. Just use the word sprayer. We'll know that came from the Moving Iron podcast. And again, we'll extend that exclusively to your listeners. And we'll have a new promo next month. So be on the lookout for those as well. So I wouldn't be a marketing guy if I didn't throw out a discount or two.
Everybody loves a good discount, though, Jesse. That's the best thing about that.
Yeah, there you go.
Right on. Well, Clint, if folks wanted to get a hold of you and ask you questions about tires and stuff and where you're at, those kind of things, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, I'm available through the website, or I'm on most of the major social media platforms at Clint Berardi. You can find me on their Facebook, Instagram, or reach out through the website. And my email is clint.berardi@axontire.com. And if I'm if you're outside of my territory, I'll get you connected with who you need to be in touch with. So, yeah.
And Berardi is Berardi, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Right on. So, well, I would encourage you guys to definitely take advantage of the 5% discount, and also give Clint a call and pick his brain about what's going on out in the world and what he sees happening out there. So, Jesse and Clint, I do appreciate you guys, what you guys have done here for Moving Iron Podcast, and I appreciate all the partnership that we have going so far.
Yeah, we're excited to participate. And again, I know we're all aiming at getting back together face to face. Our sales guys are on the road, and we're looking forward to your event down in Nashville. So just putting that plug in there, we're excited to shake some hands with your listeners and get down there as well. So yeah, we're excited to participate, and man, your listeners, look out for this segment at the top every month. And yeah, we'll be here all year.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate you guys. Well, I am Casey Seymour with Moving Iron Podcast. Make sure you check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where you're going to find the latest editions of the Moving Iron Podcast. Also, all the information for the Moving Iron Summit that Jesse talked about there. That is Nashville, Tennessee, September 15th through the 17th. So up on the navigation bar, just click the Moving Iron Summit tab, and you'll get all the information that you need. So with that, I am Casey Seymour with Clint Berardi and Jesse Peters. Let's go with some iron, folks. You want to have a meaningful competitive advantage to help sell more equipment. Whether you represent the sales, parts, or management department of an implement dealership, there's a surprising amount of complexity when it comes to tire, wheel, and track technology. Let AXON worry about that so you can get back to supporting your customers. AXON has leveraged years of experience to create a streamlined process that gives you a proven path to help today's grower and sell more equipment. The roots of their organization go back almost 100 years to the invention of the rubber tractor tire. Supporting agriculture is the number one driver of AXON, from product development through sales and service. To find more or become an AXON dealer, head over to axontire.com.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving higher.